is Saleh and I'm Sabi. We are two guys on a mission to drive the fastest and the most exciting cars in the world. On today's episode, we have something which is a performance version of a performance version.
Presenting you the BMW M4 CSL. If you have been in the car scene long enough, then you know that when BMW puts that CSL badge on a car, it means business. It means lesser weight, brutally aggressive, and high performance.
This right here is the one of 1000, a BMW M4 CSL. Built for lunatics, tuned for racetracks, and sculpted out of carbon like it's auditioning for a DTM comeback.
This car right here is the actual spiritual predecessor of M3 CSL E46. In between, BMW produced other cars like GT versions, the GTS version, the M Performance, but the M4 CSL came after long wait. This is what they produce. Let me explain you something. BMW comes with M, Competition, CS, Competition Sport, and CSL, Competition Sport Lifestyle. Think of it like a performance ladder. First, you have simple BMWs. Then you have BMW M, which is high performance. Then comes the Competition, which is a great car actually, which is pumped up version of M. Then comes the Competition Sports, and after that at the end comes the CSL, Competition Sport Lifestyle, and Lifestyle means lightweight.
So under the hood roars an inline-6 S58 turbocharged engine pushing out 550 horsepower, which is 50 more than the lower variant of this car, as well as the car being 100 kilograms lighter than the original, sitting at 1635 kilograms of dry weight, along with an automatic 8-speed transmission, which is also, unlike the M4, does not come with a manual transmission. If you come a bit closer, I'll just show you the 6 blocks on top of the engine cover. And these days, it's kind of a thing that you just open the hood and you can immediately tell it's going to be a V8 or a V6. Just like in this one, you see 6 grooves. It's an inline-6 engine. That being said, this car is easily the most powerful and quickest performance variant coming out of the BMW factory. So this S58 motor, which already is quite powerful, has been turbocharged by ram air turbos, and this was something that the owner did after buying the car, and it did not come like this from factory. And with the help of this powerful motor, this car reaches a top speed of 307 kilometers per hour.
So as compared to the Competition version of the M4, this car has wider intakes, the wider grille, the more air can go inside it. Then it has a 50th anniversary BMW badge on it, which comes as a factory version of this car. You don't have to pay extra for that because you are paying already a hefty amount for that. The car has angel eyes on it, which are actually yellow like M5, and after this model the angel eyes were replaced with the snake eyes. Then you have a front carbon splitter, functioning vents all the way. This big massive carbon splitter helps you to push the car down to the ground, and then you have more carbon fins here. BMW cuts the weight by putting 3 pieces made of carbon: the front hood, the rooftop, and the boot lid. At the first glance, you would see only the hood scoops made of carbon, but actually the reality is the whole hood is made of carbon, which is very lightweight. So these red strips follows from the front till the back of the car.
When you come with me to the side of this car, you can already visibly see that it is much more aggressive and has a much more sportier stance than the M4 Competition and the M4. The doors on the side mirrors, the front fenders, everything is made out of carbon fiber, which again shows how dedicated they were to its lightweight philosophy. Although this rear fender is not made out of carbon fiber, you can just tap it and find out. On the front fender, you see these air vents, which are responsible for cooling the brakes. They also direct the wind from the side of the tires all the way to the back, so the car can streamline through it. This car sits on Michelin Sport Cup 2 4S tires with 21-inch Edelweiß rims on the front and 20-inch Edelweiß rims on the back. Again, these additions were not from the factory, but something that the owner added by himself. And behind these bad boys This car sits on gigantic carbon ceramic brakes, which bring it to a halt with the same speed that it is accelerating. The M4 CSL already is restricted to 1,000 pieces. This one is even more special because out of those 1,000, this is one of one. Because of all the carbon work done on it by Alpha N, the Edelweiß champagne rims, carbon side skirts, all the plastic panels have been changed on this car and replaced with carbon fiber. Even the engine covering is replaced carbon fiber. This also comes with KW suspension, which is not usual for the series car. And last but not least, the downpipes on this car are from AGS. All right, when you look at this car from the back, first thing first, you see is this magnificent ducktail spoiler, which has been incorporated into the boot lid instead of externally placing it on the lid. And if you ask me, honestly, this is one of my favorite features in the car because it really adds an extra oomph to the tail and it looks much more beefier and sportier. When you look at these LED tail lights compared to the standard M4, you wouldn't see these stripes. These are just kind of like an aesthetic addition to these tail lights, again, which in my opinion look much better than the standard version. And here you find the rear diffuser, which supports these quad titanium exhausts, which are obviously quite beefy. It makes the whole thing even more exciting when you turn this on and these exhausts are put to work. Again, just like the front, there is a BMW 50th anniversary edition badge, and the rear camera is incorporated into this, so you don't see a separate ugly lump for the rear camera. So let's have a look inside the boot and see what we find there. Looking inside, there is almost around 400 liters of storage space for a racetrack car compared to the GT3 model especially. This is a lot of space. I can probably fit inside of it, but I don't want to scratch the bumpers. So since the boot lid is fully made out of carbon fiber, you can see the carbon fiber on these inside strips where it's not painted. And when you look through the boot, you see a panel which can be removed. So just in case if you want to fit more stuff in, although it doesn't make more sense to fit so much stuff in, but just in case you want to carry a lot of stuff in your race car, I think this car does a better job than the GT3 models. Not to forget the M4 CSL badging on the back as well, because one thing BMW definitely enjoyed doing with this car was putting CSL badges everywhere. So just in case you forget from the back that this was an M4 CSL, you will see it at the front that this is a CSL, and when you sit inside, it's again going to tell you 50 times that it's a CSL. But I think we've talked about the tail a lot, and now it's time to get inside the car and let's see what this brings on the inside. So speedsters, when you get seated inside of this car, you are greeted by this entirely carbon fiber sports steering wheel, which is really sturdy. There is a carbon fiber center console, and this screen that you see here on the side, which is right now showing me the boost level, you do not find on the stock variants or the lower variants. Except for this, you see M4 CSL badging here on the sides. The normal M4 CSL usually comes with manual seats, so you got to move them front and back manually, but the owner paid an extra buck and made sure that his comfort wasn't compromised. Maybe a little bit of weight was, and you can move these seats front and back through these controls. Except for this, what I see right away sitting inside this car is that it does not come with floor mats. These floor mats have been added by the owner afterwards.
So this car has been somehow in bit and pieces domesticated by the owner of this car, but still these bucket seats are still there, which is electronically controlled, but you have spaces here where you can still put the harnesses while racing or driving this car on the racetrack. And BMW cuts a lot of like around 25 kilo, 24 kilo of a weight by removing the rear seats. So in this car you don't have rear seats, but in M4 competition you do have the rear seats. So rather than the rear seats, you have a bit of a storage space where there's a net and you can place, just like the owner put the helmet inside this. And then one thing which is quite funny, I found it quite funny, that you don't have the rear seats, but you still have lights for that, and that's quite funny. I don't know, maybe they forgot to take it out, whatever the reason is. So you have carbon bits and pieces all over here, carbon here, carbon. The car in room is actually louder because of the weight reduction philosophy, and they have removed the sound insulation, and here you can here, that's it's plastic. It makes sense. So the normal version or the company version of this car comes with Alcantara steering, but here you can see that owner has changed that and put a carbon fitted steering inside. The car comes with three different modes. You have a normal road mode, then you have a sport mode, then you have a track mode. And when the track mode is on, it all goes black and the car become more stiffer and have beefy performance. If you are driving on the racetrack and you are wearing helmet, then this is not a problem. At this whole headrest, not the whole headrest, but this place can be removed, and then you have a space for driving the car on the racetrack while wearing the helmet. The car is actually shouting that I am CSL. You have a lot of badges around. You have CSL written here on the seat. You can see all over this M color stitching also. When you pull your belt on, there's M color stitching here, which are quite a natural and good touch to this car. Then you have a big console here, which is not much techy. You have buttons. So yeah, I think they focused on that they will put buttons in this car, not only big touch screen. That's actually I found good. Then you have a storage place here where you can put your stuff. Then you have a storage place here. Yeah, you have quite a decent storage place for a car which is only meant for racetracks.
All right, all in all, when we talk about the BMW M4 CSL, I would just say it's a very impressive piece of machinery. It is really quick, really fast, 3.6 seconds, 0 to 100. Lightweight, although it's just 100 kilos lesser than the M4 competition, sitting at around 1635 kilograms. Still very agile, very aggressive, made for the track, made for the corners. But the drawback, however, is that this car came out around $190,000 when it first came out on the market, which puts it almost around $70,000 or more dollars more than the M4 competition. And that has kind of created a disadvantage for this car in the market, because people would rather spend 50K from their own pocket on an M4 competition to put turbos on and maybe some lightweight additions.
And it's a very interesting point that I have noticed. When you look up this car on internet, you will find this car still in Germany, which is only limited to, which according to my information, only 150 pieces in the market, but still they are having only 25 kilometers on them, and they are costing around you 140 to 150,000 euros. And but in my opinion, this car is actually a collectible. This is a racetrack monster, and it will in future will go up.
Yeah, definitely in the next 10-20 years, this is bound to go up in value, because then it would be the special CSL from back in the days. But as of now, I think just because of the price point clash with the other variants, and the option being that you could buy, because this price point is basically GT3 territory or GT4 territory. So a lot of people argue that maybe you could go in that direction. But being one of 1,000, this is definitely a very special piece.
Now before we hit the Mashallah meter, let's talk about the CSL's biggest flex: weight saving. Compared to the M4 competition, BMW stripped around 100 kg and they didn't play around. Here's how they did it. 24 kg gone with those hardcore carbon bucket seats. 21 kg saved by deleting the rear seats. 15 kg from removing most of the sound insulation. 14 kg thanks to the carbon ceramic brakes. 11 kg with a mix of carbon hood, trunk and center console. 4 kg from the titanium rear silencer, and another 11 kg in small changes like lighter wheels, spring and hardware. Total around 100 kg. The result? The CSL weighs just 1625 kilos, and you can feel every missing gram on the road. And this is lean, loud and laser focused. Alright, enough admiring. Let's break it down the Speedster's way. It's time for the Mashallah meter. Looks. This thing is a rolling carbon weapon. From factory CSL aggression to carbon package 2, full alpha N carbon hood and 850 gram fenders. It's like a DTM car got street plates. Add those Edelweiss wheels and red strip hood, it's dripping with motorsport energy. 9 out of 10. Performance: 550 horsepower, 650 Nm of torque, 0 to 100 in 3.7 seconds, and that's all stock. But this one got HAS downpipes, open ram air intake, KW coilovers, and sound like it's ready for war. It's lighter, louder and sharper than ever. Easy 10 out of 10. Price: only 1000 units made, but not everyone lined up to grab one. High price, no manual and niche appeal. It didn't hit like the M2 CS or G80. Still, if you know, you know. 7 out of 10. Built different, this CSL doesn't just look fast. It feels like BMW's love letter to hardcore drivers. Mashallah Meter score 26 out of 30.
If you want to see us checking out more cars, more special cars like the one we have right now, keep following Speedster Syndicate, like and subscribe to this video. And we would also like to thank Glanzwerk Bornheim for presenting us with this opportunity today to be filming with this car. And we hope to be back soon when they make an upgrade. So,
And Marco, keep buying crazy cars and we'll keep coming to check out these cars. See you soon.
see you in the next one.